Yeah, yeah. You know what time it is. Gather round, let's vibe. It's Sunday, so let's ride. Nathaniel Noble Jr. coming through. Got the mic and the thoughts just for you. Dropping wisdom like sunshine, bright and clear. New episodes weekly, can you hear? Every Sunday at noon, Pacific time. Tune in, let the good vibes rhyme. Life happens, that's a fact. But we got the stories, let's keep it on track. Every Sunday with Mr. Noble. Life lessons flowing, we keep it global. Amazing guests sharing gold nuggets. Tune in, don't miss it, we won't plug it.
This is the Nathaniel Noble Jr. Podcast.
Welcome this week's guest to the Nathaniel Noble Jr. Podcast. I have a guest that found me, unless it's assistant that found me. Welcome, Rondi Lambeth. What's going on, brother?
Hey, thanks for having me on. It's good to be alive on this another beautiful day.
Yes, it is. In spite of the fake clouds they put out here in California, blocking my sunlight, I was trying to get that free vitamin D, but that's another story to talk about later. So how are you, sir?
I'm doing outstanding. I woke up to a bright sunny day. It's been a very gloomy, like a May, June gloom kind of thing here in Boise, Idaho. Little inversion. Haven't seen the sun for 4 or 5 days, but it is out strong this morning.
Oh, it looks
nice. Got a nice little 2.5 mile ruck in.
So I think the gloom you had, it came over here to Southern California because it's blocking my sunlight when I try to do my walk.
Yeah.
You can have it back.
Well, you get plenty of sunshine.
I know, but I like it. I don't like it when they block it. So yeah. Rondi Lambeth. So who's Rondi Lambeth? Where you coming from? Where you going? Where you been? All that stuff.
Yeah, I grew up here in Idaho. Grew up very poor. In fact, not very many people, I don't think, in the United States grew up the way I did. No running water, no electricity. Got our food out of a dumpster most of the year. Half the year we'd spend it in the mountains hiding from the government because my parents thought that the world was going to end any day from the Russians invading. So it was a very challenging childhood. I wouldn't change it because it made me very, very strong and very tough and resilient. But I left home at 15 years old with the mission to become wealthy. I was taught that same things a lot of people teach their children, a lot of people are taught by their parents, and that is money's the root of all evil. Money doesn't grow on trees, and rich people are. We simply know that none of that's true. And so I left home at 15 with the mission of becoming wealthy. And I become a multimillionaire in my early 20s. And I'm happy to say now that not one single person in my entire family lives in poverty. Not one single person has to stay in an abusive relationship due to money. And along the way, I've done lots of things. I was a fireman in Littleton, Colorado. I was a crew chief on a medevac helicopter for almost 15 years in the Army National Guard. And then now for the last 20 years, I've done 3 things. And that is help people maximize their credit, minimize their debt, and mitigate their taxes. And it's a very fulfilling part of my life. Just as much as picking soldiers up from the battlefield in a medevac helicopter saving lives, or being the first responder at Columbine High School shooting and saving over a dozen kids' lives, April 20th, 1998, I still find just as much satisfaction with fixing people's credit and reducing entrepreneurs' business taxes. So that's me in a nutshell.
First of all, thanks for your service. And
You're welcome.
The question is, so since you grew up in poverty, I mean, what was it inside of you? How many siblings you have?
I have 11 siblings. I'm the oldest.
Okay, so you had to lead. I think you were the one they were waiting for.
As my good friend Ed Milet says, I was the one who broke the family tree. Anyone can be the one.
Right.
You just have to choose to be the one.
But What was it about the situation where you say I'm not gonna live like this and grow old this way?
It really came down to my youngest or closest younger brother is Jeremy. He's 10 months younger than me. So we're Irish twins, and it sounds like me, looks like me. And at 15 years old, I mean, my stepdad had multiple personalities, spent time in prison for murder, was a very violent man, and he would beat us and sometimes even torture us. And at 15 years old, somewhere around 14, 15, my brother and I made a vow that the next time that Paul jumped on one of us and started beating us, the other one would beat him until he stopped breathing. And so that was our vow to each other. And it happened. We were up in Wenatchee, Washington, which is up next to the Idaho-Canadian border, in Washington at the very top. And I think he attacked my brother. I think he was on a ladder. We were picking apples for some money, and my brother dropped an apple or something. And so Paul kicked the ladder out from under him, and he fell a good 10, 12 feet. And so and then he started beating Jeremy. And so I started beating on him. And it's kind of a blur. That was 41 years ago now. And he gave my mom a choice after he, got both of us brothers off of him. Gave my mom a choice, either choose your kids, choose your sons, or choose me. So my mom gave me $20 in food stamps and kind of set us on the way.
Wow.
So the short answer to your question is, it was either I killed Paul or he killed me. It was one of those situations. So, through my childhood, I was taught as a young boy how to shoot specifically to kill people. That was the reason he taught us how to shoot rifles and pistols, and was in case the Russians invaded, that I knew how to kill people. And so it wasn't a stretch for my brother and I to decide that that's how we were going to end our problem. We were going to kill him and bury him somewhere. So I think that was the breaking point. I had to leave.
Wow. So where did you guys go from? Did you just leave, or you and your brother?
No, my brother and I left, and we hitchhiked from Wenatchee, Washington, all the way to Boise, Idaho. And took us several days to do it. And then I just kind of bounced around in foster care, in and out of family homes, and then eventually ended up in Oregon, where I went to work for an entrepreneur that was extremely wealthy. And he hired me to mow his lawn, wash his cars, take out his trash. And then about 3-4 weeks into, doing odd jobs, he came to me and offered me a full-time position at his business. And I was a sophomore in high school at this time. And the offer was $1,000 a month salary and a car. And he would buy me some clothes, specifically suits.
Gold mine back then.
And I got a pager. So in 1987, I got $1,000 a month, a car, a pager, and new clothes. And it really didn't matter what I was going to do for him. And turns out he owned a funeral home in John Day, Oregon.
Wow.
And it was the only funeral home in the entire county of 5,000 people. So at 16 years old, I became a licensed embalmer, funeral director apprentice. And for the next 4 years, I helped console people in their worst day of their life, and also spent time with a very wealthy man that taught me something that stuck with me my whole life. And that is, how much money you make is not as important as how much money you keep. Mm-hmm. And it's nobody's responsibility but your own to figure out how to keep more. And my whole life has been built around that one paragraph. How much money you make is not as important as how much you keep. And that's really what I help my clients do, is keep more of their hard-earned cash, because most people rely on a CPA for their finances. Most business owners think the CPA is there to help them with the IRS and reduce their taxes. And quite honestly, CPAs are not there to help you win. They're not a coach. Think of a CPA more as a referee at a football game. They're there to make sure both teams follow the rules. They're there to make sure that the clock is correct, the rules are followed, and to call mistakes. And that's really what our CPAs represent in our life as business owners and entrepreneurs. Is they're the rule. I mean, they're there to make sure you file your taxes on time, fill out the right paperwork, and don't break the rules, and to always inform us of the rules in case we forget. But most people think that they're the coach to help you beat the team, but that is not what they're there for. So after I left, I moved in with Wally and got a real good financial foundation of what entrepreneurship looks like and what success looks like, and just kind of ran with it.
So the question now is, when did you reconvene back with your mother? Because as a teenager, to me, that would be devastating. My mom asked me to leave because it's this knucklehead. I would be like pretty crushed.
It wasn't until, so I left in 1986. I got back with her probably in 2006, so almost 20 years.
Wow.
And I was a fireman at the time, just got off a 72-hour shift, and turned on my phone and had a whole bunch of messages from her. And they were a bunch of voicemails of her crying, telling me that my brother Zeke, who was my youngest brother, who was maybe about 2-3 years old when I left home, had been involved in an accident. He was also a fireman in Oregon. So I just figured he got hurt, because firefighters, we get hurt all the time. You're doing dangerous stuff in dangerous situations. And so I called her and found out my brother had taken his own life, that he got in a fight with his girlfriend, took out a gun and shot himself in the chest.
Sorry to hear that.
And he's 21 years old. And the reason that he killed himself, Nathaniel, is because a collection agency called her and was harassing her over my brother's couple $100 debt. And I don't know if it's a medical bill or credit card. I'm not sure what it was, what type of debt it was. And, he and her got in a big fight, and she said he'd never accomplish anything. He was a loser and he can't even pay his bills. So my brother ended up ending his life over a few $100s in collections. And it really hit me hard, because here I was on the busiest rescue in Denver, Colorado, as a fireman, saving dozens of lives, sometimes every day. And yet my brother, who I should be taking care of, I didn't even know he was suffering. And he went and killed himself. And so I started a company called Fortress in 2007. And since then, we've helped over 100,000 people maximize their credit, minimize their debt, mitigate their taxes. And that's kind of the beginning of getting back with my mom. But it really wasn't until 2019 when I moved back from Idaho, or I moved back to Idaho. I read a book by Don Miguel, and it was the 4 Agreements, and then there's the 4 Agreements, and then there's a whole bunch of other books, Mastery of Love, Mastery of Self. And it was at that time that in the book, he talked about you need to forgive your parents, and you need to forgive anybody who's ever done you wrong. And so 2019, I sat down with my mom and my biological father and a whole bunch of other people in my life, and let them know that I loved them and that I forgave them. And that's really when our relationship really took off. So a long time away from my mom. And, I used to blame her until 2020. And, I forgave her in 2019, but I used to blame her for the life of growing up poor and on and off of welfare and living in a tent and a shack with no running water. And I could never figure out, why would my mom choose another man over the kids? And it was in 2020 that I realized, I was reading something, and I did not realize this, but until 1977, women in America were not legally allowed to enter a contract without a man co-signing. Women are not legally allowed to have a bank account, a credit card, buy a car, or even rent a house. And it was at that point I realized that the reason my mom was stuck in the position that she found herself in her entire life was because she dropped out of high school when she got pregnant with me versus having an abortion, which is what her parents wanted her to do. They disowned her and kicked her out. And so she got stuck in that cycle. And really until I was 7 years old, she wasn't even legally allowed to even do anything on her own. So I learned something, and that is your parents do the best that they can do with the information they have and the trauma that they suffered.
I say that all the time.
Yeah. And there is an expiration date on how long you can blame your parents for your problems. And that expiration date is when you can start driving a car on your own.
You said driving a car. I was going to say until when you take your life on your own, like when you leave home, now you're in control. You say driving a car.
There is an expiration date. So, and a lot of people blame their parents their entire lives.
Yep.
It's mama, daddy, family drama. I mean, it's the drama triangle. People are either the victim, the hero, or the villain. And you get to choose which one are you going to be. And not in none of those three positions is actually a good place to be.
Right. Yeah, that took a lot. You sat down with the whole crew to say I forgive you. That took a lot. I think that's a point of maturity when you can forgive the people that harm you and hurt you, and mean it. It actually frees you up.
It freed me up a lot, and then I got 4 really good years with my mom, and then in 2023 she passed away suddenly from a heart attack in June 23. And what's interesting about that, Nathaniel, was I didn't think I'd take it so hard as I did. And what's really interesting about that is she died June 25th, 2023. I found myself in the same hospital, on the same operating table, with the same heart surgeon on November 25th, 2023, with the same problem.
Wow.
And that was blocked arteries. Mine was different. I had 3 arteries in my heart just spontaneously rupture, and I was bleeding out. And fortunately, I live about 4 miles away from the hospital. So as soon as I felt the excruciating pain of someone ripping my arms off, we drove to the hospital, and I had heart surgery within about 40 minutes of the first symptoms. So, but that was that shook me to the core. Like, I was within minutes of dying. It wasn't the first time that I've experienced that, but it was the first time that I didn't put myself in the situation in the first place. With the fire department, the military, and the extreme sports, and flying airplanes and experimental airplanes. I mean, I've faced death many times, but I put myself there. The heart just giving out and spontaneously rupturing, it took me a solid year to recover from that, just primarily mentally. And then right after my mom died, 6 months after my mom died, just made it harder. So, but life is good. I'm thankful every day I wake up. The first thing I do every morning is I open my eyes and I try to figure out where am I at. I tend to travel a lot.
Okay.
And then first thing I say is thank you, Lord, for letting me live another day and wake up. So every day is a blessing.
Yeah. And with that heart, since that heart incident, did you change your diet and do anything different?
I didn't, other than stress. I had 50 plus employees at the time.
Ooh, yeah, stress.
I had a very, very large credit repair company that we were, onboarding thousands of clients a year. And I eliminated that. I still have the credit repair business. I don't do any marketing anymore. I let all my sales team go. I eliminated 90% of my staff. I eliminated the stress. And I just focus now on helping entrepreneurs protect their assets and mitigate their taxes. And so I eliminated my stress. And then afterwards, about 2 months ago, I woke up almost 50 pounds overweight that I gained after the heart attack over the last 2 years of laying around. And I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, what is wrong with you? You're wealthy, you have an airplane, you have Ferraris and watches and cars and houses and a beautiful woman that supports you. I mean, I got everything in life except I'm fat and overweight. And it was embarrassing to me because as an ultra athlete and a fireman for most of my life,
right,
prior to my heart attack, I was training to climb Mount Everest the week, prior to me having the heart attack. I think the day before I had to hike like 25 miles.
Gee.
And that's probably an exaggeration. It was probably closer to 15 to 20, but I had a treadmill underneath my desk and I would walk like 6 hours a day just on the treadmill. So I was in great physical shape and then I got fat. And so I decided I was going to make something, I was going to do something about it. And I was going to wait till the first of the year. So the first of the year, I started a working out, physically strength training 4 times a week, rucking 6 days a week and walking 7 days a week. And I've always ate good. It's just I didn't keep track of the food. And so now I'm keeping track of it. So, but that really, I don't know that had to do with the heart attack. But now.
Mentally?
Yeah, I think mentally, like last night, I was sitting there looking at my app. I have a Hume band that I wear and an Oura ring and
all these gadgets,
an Apple Watch and
constant monitor.
Yeah, and all that monitoring stuff. And then I have a special scale that I stand on. And what was really cool is yesterday I was looking at it and my resting heart rate is 20 beats a minute slower. My walking heart rate is 20 beats slower than it was just a month ago. My muscle mass is up, the fat is down. My HRV score went from the 20s to now, I just scored a 98 the day before last. And so now it feels like I got the stress is gone in my life. My health is coming back. My relationships are good. I miss my mom.
Always.
But life is just outstanding right now.
Yeah, I'm glad you got it together with your mom because I'm sure that was bothering her too, deep down. That's
yeah.
Parents, man, parents are special. Being a parent, you have any kids? Yeah, you said you had a kid.
Yeah, I got 3 kids. I have a 32-year-old, 30, 31, 33, and 35. And then
grandkids?
The older 2 are girls. And 1 grandson, he's 14.
Okay. Yeah, keep you busy.
Yeah. And my oldest daughter, Chastney's, she lives just down the street in Boise. And her and I work together. And, we get to talk every day. Most of the time it's about work, but I try to make it not so much work. But her and I are so passionate about it that, it's impossible for us not to talk about work. But it's so rewarding to have my daughter like running my social media and running the websites and all of the advertising and the sales team. And then my middle daughter's a trauma nurse in Vegas.
Ooh, man.
My grandson wants to be a police officer, and that's all he wants to do since he was a little boy. He wants to be a police officer. And my son is, he's still trying to figure it out. He's 32 going on 18.
Is always 31, the one,
I guess.
Is always the one in the crowd.
No, he's 31 going on 18, 19. He's trying to figure it out,
There's too many distractions out there. You got to get focused on something.
Yeah, I was thinking about this the other day, like, how at least I'm 54, and it's like, my friends are like, we we didn't have phones back in the day. And if we had phones, we'd all be in prison right now.
Yeah.
From the stuff we did.
Doing some illegal stuff.
Yeah, I mean, just what kids do. And then we'd go out and drink out of the hose, and someone, there's a joke like, why'd you drink out of the hose? Why didn't you go inside the house? And it's because our parents wouldn't let us go in the house.
Right.
That's why.
You had to be outside all day.
You had to be outside. And I was thinking about, I was like, when we were kids, we had to have patience, and you had to go to the library and look something up or ask someone and wait. Can you imagine now? I mean, you just pull out your phone and you just ask your phone. It's instant access to anything.
Anything.
Literally anything.
Literally around the world instantaneously. That's crazy.
And you can talk to anyone anywhere in the world relatively.
FaceTime. It's amazing.
Maybe not North Korea, but you can. In most, maybe not North Korea. Or here's an interesting fact. England and Germany have imprisoned more people for violating freedom. They're for speaking out and saying things and posting stuff on social media than North Korea and China combined.
Man,
let that sink in. England
they
has imprisoned more people last year than North Korea and China combined.
Wow.
For saying things that they didn't like. So that's pretty scary.
Talking about some totalitarian. What do you call it? The totalitarian?
Yeah. And so my point to all of that is like, it's not as easy as we think it is on these kids. Like, they don't have to wait for anything. And
yeah, everything's got to be instant. And when they don't come instant, it freaks them out.
Yeah, it really, I'm an overnight success. It took me my entire life to become successful, but most people with the Instagram world. And because I help people with their finances and I help them with their taxes, I get to see behind the door, behind the curtain, if you will.
Right.
And most of these influencers, and I won't name names, but I know a lot of them and a lot of the really big ones. And they're not doing as well as they make you think they are as far as finances. And a lot of the stuff they do is rented. Even like there's a place in Las Vegas now that you can go sit in a mock-up of a private jet, and you can pretend that you're flying private to Vegas. And they got this whole thing where you rent it, and they make it look like you're walking on a private jet and you're sitting in the private jet, and then you walk out and there's a car waiting for you. It's all fake.
Wow.
And even, you know who Ty Lopez is?
Is he an influencer?
Yeah, he was the guy. He kind of started the whole YouTube influencer thing. It's just me with my cars in my garage, and he's adjusting his glasses, and he's just. He rented one of my friends' jet once to fly from Orange County to Burbank and back. And my friend was like,
5-minute ride.
Yeah. And it was a global. So it wasn't a little tiny Citation Mustang. It was a big jet, global, like to go from LA to Australia kind of jet.
Wow.
And he kept harassing my friend and harassing him. And finally, my friend gave in because he said he'll give him $100,000 for charity or something. And so my friend's like, whatever. If you want to give that money to my charity, fine. About 6 months later, my friend saw his jet on YouTube, and this guy Ty was pretending it was his jet. He even brought in pillows that had TL written on them. He brought them in on my buddy's jet to make it look like it was his jet. It was all fake. There's so much of this out there. So don't buy into it. And sometimes it takes a very long time to become successful.
Yes. And you got to know how to, like you said, keep that money, not just spend it.
Yeah, keep it. How much money makes not as important as how much you keep. You know. And this morning when I was on my ruck, I just started listening to a new book called Chop Wood and Carry Water. Chop wood and carry water. And life is all about chopping wood and carrying water. And once you read the book, you'll know what that means or listen to it.
You're not going to give us a sneak peek?
Life is just about chopping wood and carrying water. It's Michael Jordan and Kobe, the reason what made them so successful, in Tiger Woods was chopping wood and carrying water, doing the basics over and over and over and over again. Why everybody else was partying, they were in the gym working out and on the court chopping wood and carrying water, and not focus on the championships. Same thing with Tom Brady. Tom Brady, his entire goal was to win Super Bowls. It was not about becoming a superstar. It was about winning Super Bowls. And that's why he took a low salary. And a lot of people don't realize that. He was one of the lowest paid quarterbacks in the NFL. And the deal was, instead of you giving me the money, you are going to give it to the linemen. And I want 2 sets of linemen, because he knew linemen get hurt. And he said, there's no way I can win a Super Bowl if I don't have a good, strong team of linemen. And so unlike some of the Phillip Rivers and some of the other quarterbacks that were getting $100 million, here's Tom getting 20, 25 million. And was it worth it? Probably was.
That's been history.
I think it was.
He was looking at the end goal. Yeah.
That's right.
Yep. So
just like Elon Musk, it's all about going to Mars.
Going to Mars. So enough about you, Rondi. What about your business? Explain to people, what do you do, exactly what you do, and how you can help them.
What we do at Fortress University is we show our clients and teach our clients how to maximize their credit, whether it's personal or business credit, because everything in life costs more with bad credit. Everything. If you and I, Nathaniel, went to the same gas station and got the same 10 gallons of gas, and I paid with a Costco City card and you paid with cash or a debit card, you'd pay 5% more for that gas than I did, because I get 5% cash back. And then if I drove over to Costco and got my gas, I'm saving now about 15%. And the only way you can get that credit card is if you have good credit. And that's just a small example of how everything costs more with bad credit. So the first thing we do is we teach our clients how to maximize their credit. And if they have issues, we can clean it up. Late payments, charge-offs, short sales, foreclosures, bankruptcies. Anything and everything can be removed from a credit report legally and permanently and quickly if you know how to do it. And the next thing we do is we minimize their debt. We show them how to eliminate 100% of their debt, including their mortgage, in 7 to 10 years without changing their lifestyle, without living off of rice and beans and rice and driving beaters and never going on vacation like some guys like Dave Ramsey and Susie Orman talk about. And then third, where I spend most of my time, is mitigating taxes, protecting assets. And I can take any entrepreneur that owes money, that owes to the IRS because they made money. I mean, if you don't make any money as a business owner, you don't pay taxes. But if you make money, regardless of where you live, I can cut your income tax in half with one move. And it doesn't include moving to Puerto Rico or setting up a Cayman Islands trust or Bahamian trust or revoking your U.S. citizenship and becoming a sovereign. None of that nonsense. You can live in California, make millions of dollars in California, and pay 0 California income tax, 0 federal personal tax, 0 self-employment tax. But making one move, one corporate structure change. It's the same thing that every single Fortune 500 company does. It's what the movie industry does, the music industry. And that's where I spend most of my time, is helping business owners reduce their taxes by 50% immediately, and then creating strategies to eliminate the other 50%. So that's what I do 4 days a week. After I used to work 7 days a week, 12, 14 hours a day. I loved every single minute of it. And then I had the heart attack.
That's your body.
And I realized that I want to do something. I want to do something more than just work, even though I love working.
Yeah.
So,
And
I'll just try to
how could I get in touch with you?
simplify my life and say no to a bunch of people.
Yeah, that's probably hard for you to do, especially if you're used to saying yes.
Yeah.
But then you think about that heart, like, hey, my heart told me to tell you, no, I can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Rondi, where could they find you if they want some more information?
You can find me at anywhere on social media at Rondi Lambeth. That's RondiLambeth. You can also find me at rondilambeth.com. You can also go to Google and type in Rondi Credit or Rondi Tax. I am really easy to find. Here's the one thing that I will say is if you do find me on social media, make sure it's the verified, the blue check mark. Lots of scammers pretending to be me selling crypto, and it's not me. I do not sell crypto. I don't sell courses, and I'll never reach out to you on social media and ask you to buy something or tell you I'm selling something. That's not how I work. You call me if you want my help. I don't offer help to people that don't ask for it. So either rondilambeth.com or anywhere on social media, all the platforms, I'm there.
Okay, that's good to know.
I even had an OnlyFans account at one time. Yeah. You know, I set up the OnlyFans account back when it first came out, pre-COVID, and it was a place for people to subscribe to credit education, financial education, etc.
Okay, well, nothing freaky, huh?
Nah,
like it's known for.
Nobody wants to see this old fat bald man.
You work.
Actually, probably is.
There's probably a million fans out there that are looking for a fat old bald man. Never know. It's something for everybody out in this world. Everybody have a tribe.
There's something for everybody. That's what.
Yeah, no matter how crazy it may sound, somebody out there like, wow, glad I found you.
That's the truth.
Anything else you want people to know?
No, you know what? It's not important. It's how much money you make. It's how much you keep. And I want to help you keep more. So follow me on social or reach out if you want to keep more of your hard-earned money.
Right on. So look, this is the part of the show where I have my guests leave some positive life nuggets. What you got?
Bad credit's a choice. Everything costs more if you have bad credit. And it's up to you. Nobody cares about your finances as much as you. It's not your CPA. It's not your attorney. It's not your mom or your dad or your husband or your wife. If you want to be the one in your family to change the family tree forever, it's all up to you. Don't be a victim. Accept responsibility where you're at. Forgive everybody else for what they did is the best they could do. And just chop wood and carry water every day. And one day you'll wake up successful.
And roger that. Hey, so you don't have any books out or anything coming?
You know what? I do have a couple books on Amazon for sale. They're primarily credit related. And some of that stuff's now outdated.
Oh, okay.
Because the credit laws change every year. Mm-hmm. But probably the best, just my YouTube channel or Instagram or TikTok.
And YouTube is
always updated.
YouTube is under your name, right? Rondi Lambeth.
Everything's under my name, Rondi Lambeth, RondiLambeth.
Yeah, you guys go and check him out and ask him a lot of questions if you're interested. But other than that, man, I want to thank you for coming on the Nathaniel Noble Jr. podcast, and thank you, I guess your daughter who probably hooked us up.
Yeah.
Appreciate the help, and once again, thanks for your service.
You've heard it exclusively on Nathaniel Noble Jr. podcast.
Hey, this is Rondi Lambeth, and you're listening to the Nathaniel Noble Jr.'s podcast. If you'd like more information about me and how I can help you, please go to my website at rondilambeth.com or check me out on all social media platforms, Rondi Lambeth.
Gotta submit. You gotta submit.
Thanks for listening to the Nathaniel Noble Jr. podcast. If you've enjoyed our show, make sure you subscribe and share with your friends. We appreciate every one of you.
Nathaniel Noble Jr. Podcast.
You gotta submit.